The Galactic Peace Summit was the biggest meeting in the history of the universe. Over 30 alien species had gathered. The chamber was massive, shaped like a giant circle, with glowing walls and floating lights. Each alien leader took their seat on a platform that hovered above the main floor. In the center stood a single human, Captain Elias Cade. He wore a simple black uniform, no medals, no armor. Just calm eyes, and a face that showed he had seen too much war. One by one, the alien races bowed or kneeled before the Galactic High Council, a group of tall, shining beings called the Elithari. Their silver robes flowed like liquid metal. They had no mouths, but their voices echoed inside the minds of everyone present. "Let peace begin," said the voice of the Elithari Prime. All eyes turned to the human. Elias Cade did not bow. He did not kneel. He simply stood still. The silence grew heavy, some aliens whispered. Others watched in confusion. A few started to frown. The Peace Summit was sacred. Every species was expected to show respect, but the human did not move. After a long moment, Elias looked up at the council. Then he turned around and walked away, slow, calm, without fear. The chamber filled with noise, shock, gasps, anger. A loud voice came from the Gorthan leader, a huge lizard-like being. "This is an insult," another shouted. "Is this a human threat?" The Elithari's minds echoed again. Why has the Terran walked away? But Elias said nothing. He kept walking until he disappeared through the silver doors behind him. And just like that, the Peace Summit collapsed. Inside the private communication chambers, alien leaders argued. The Drakari, tall insectoid warriors, slammed their weapons on the floor. The Valen, glowing plant-like beings, warned that the human move could bring war. Even allies of Earth stayed quiet, unsure what just happened. Some believed the human was trying to send a message. Others thought it was a declaration of rebellion. Back on Earth, media channels flashed the scene everywhere. News anchors asked the same question. Why did Captain Elias Cade walk out? At the Terran embassy orbiting the galactic core, reporters and officers waited outside a closed-door meeting. Inside, Earth's president sat across from Elias. "What were you thinking, Captain?" she asked, trying to stay calm. Elias replied with a steady voice. "I was thinking how peace should not begin with submission. You embarrass the entire human race." "No," Elias said. "I reminded them we're not here to bow." Back in the summit chamber, the Elithari held emergency talks. No peace treaty was signed. Many alien leaders returned to their ships. Some left the system entirely. Others remained in orbit, preparing for possible conflict. A silent war had begun, not with weapons, but with fear and suspicion. In the shadows, the council's tall buildings, two figures spoke in hushed voices. One of them was a spy for the Tarkun Syndicate, a secret group that controlled information in many star systems. "The humans know something," the spy said. "That walkout wasn't random." "Then we must find out what they know," the wise other answered, "before the truth spreads." Meanwhile, Elias returned to his private quarters. Alone, he stared out a wide glass window at the stars. His hands were calm, but his eyes were full of storm. He opened a small box on his table and pulled out an old photo, his squad smiling years ago. All of them were gone now, victims of a fake peace deal long ago. He remembered. He had never forgotten. Suddenly, his room lights blinked. A coded message came through. Unknown source. One line of text. "They're planning it again." Elias's jaw tightened. He knew what that meant. The peace talks were a cover, just like last time. Only this time, Earth would be the target. Outside his window, the stars kept shining. But war was coming. Not with ships, not with guns, with lies. And Elias Cade had just started the first crack in the mask. The Peace Summit was supposed to end. War. Instead, it ended in fear. After Captain Elias Cade walked out, the Galactic Council suspended all talks. News of the event spread fast, across planets, star systems, and deep space colonies. Every alien race saw the same moment on their screens, the human who refused to bow. Across the galaxy, leaders argued in secret meetings. Some believed Earth had disrespected the Council. Others believed the Council had pushed too far. One Drakari, warlord, General Vrenthal, slammed his fist on the table. Humans are too proud. They think they can walk among giants. His advisor spoke carefully, but maybe they saw something we didn't. In the outer rings of the Thallic system, 3 cargo ships were stopped by Council patrols. Their captains were human. All 3 were arrested. In return, Earth blocked Galactic Council ambassadors from entering Terran space. The tension grew fast. The galaxy watched and waited. Back on Earth, Elias Cade sat in a private meeting room deep inside the Terran Intelligence Command bunker. Around him sat high-ranking generals, scientists, and diplomats. On the big screen, images from the summit played again and again. "Why didn't you warn us?" one general asked. "I had no proof," Elias replied. "Only a gut feeling and a long memory." Another general frowned. "A gut feeling nearly started a galactic war." Elias didn't move. Or maybe it stopped one. Then he placed a small device on the table, a hacked data core he took from the summit floor. He tapped it once. A hologram appeared above the table. Lines of alien text scrolled quickly, showing plans, troop movements, and secret council messages. 1. File caught everyone's attention. Operation Soft Silence. It was a plan to slowly move human colonies under council control. No war, no battle. Just slow control through trade deals, education systems, and shared security programs. Within 50 years, humans would no longer control their own space. Elias looked around the room. "Still think I walked out too soon?" The room went silent. In space, above the planet Nirel 9, a group of rebel ships received a copy of the same file. It was sent by an unknown Terran source. Their leader, a cat-like creature named Rizek, read the file with wide eyes. "They lied to all of us," she whispered. "Humans were just the first target." She turned to her crew. "Prepare a message to all outer planets. Let them see the truth." Meanwhile, in the Council's secret chamber, the Elithari spoke through thought. "This human has become a storm," one said. Another added, "If we remove him, the galaxy may calm." The Council agreed. A silent command was sent. "Target Elias. Cade, remove the problem." Back on Earth, Elias stood on a rooftop, looking out at the stars. The night was quiet, but he felt the storm coming. Lieutenant Zara Quinn arrived beside him. She had once flown missions with him years ago. "I heard." "What you did," she said. "I didn't do enough," Elias replied. She looked serious. "They're calling for your head." "I know. What are you going to do?" Elias didn't answer right away. Then he looked up and said, "I'm going to show them we're not alone, and we're not weak." In the darkness of space, an assassin's ship moved fast toward Earth. Inside sat a shadowy figure with glowing red eyes. His mission was simple: kill the human who walked out. Captain Elias Cade sat alone in his room at Terran Intelligence Command. Outside, security teams moved through the halls, checking every corner. Since the Peace Summit collapse, he had become both a hero and a problem. He stared at the glowing file again. Operation Soft Silence. It showed the truth. The Galactic Council never wanted real peace. They wanted quiet control, slowly, silently. Elias had seen this before. Flashback, 12 years ago. A young Elias stood in a dusty space colony on the edge of human space. He and his squad had just helped win a battle against the Drakari. The Council arrived days later, holding peace flags and smiling faces. They said the war was over, but the next morning Elias woke to find the colony burned. His squad was gone, killed in the night, and the Council said it was a Drakari mistake. Elias never believed that. He believed the Council let it happen. Or worse, ordered it. Since that day he made a vow: never trust peace made by lies. Now, years later, his worst fears were true. The Council's plan was deeper than anyone guessed. They used schools, trade, news, even peace talks, to change minds, rewrite history, and take control of weaker species. Earth was just next in line. In another part of the galaxy, the Council sent its assassin, a deadly being known only as Veil wasn't a normal killer. He was born and trained in the dark labs of the Elithari. He could move without sound, speak in any voice, and use advanced tech to vanish like smoke. His ship entered Earth's orbit, cloaked, unseen. He had one order: erase Elias Cade. Back on Earth, Elias met with Zara Quinn in a hidden base deep under the Arctic ice. She had brought more files, leaked by unknown sources. They showed maps, secret prison camps, and peace stations near human colonies. Zara looked at Elias. "What do we do with this?" "We show the galaxy," Elias said. "But how?" "By surviving long enough." At that moment, a power surge hit the base. Lights flickered, sirens screamed. An explosion rocked the tunnel entrance. Zara jumped to the controls. "We're under attack." Elias grabbed his blaster. "It's him." In the snowy dark outside, Vial moved like a ghost. He killed 2 guards before they even turned around. No sound, no warning. Inside the base, Elias and Zara raced through narrow halls. They had no backup, no help, just the files and a target on their backs. Elias stopped and pulled Zara into a side tunnel. "I'll slow him down." "You get to the ship." Zara shook her head. "We both go." "No, if I die, this ends. If you die, it still ends. Someone has to make it out." She looked into his eyes. She saw no fear, just purpose. She nodded once. "Don't die, Cade." He gave a half-smile. No promises. Minutes later, Elias faced Vale in the ice tunnel. Snow swirled, ice cracked. Vale appeared from the shadows, red eyes glowing. "You broke the peace," he said in a voice that wasn't his. Elias raised his weapon. There was never peace, just control. They fought, fast, brutal, no words. In the end, Elias triggered an avalanche using the tunnel's support beams. Ice crashed down between them. Vial was trapped, but not dead. Zara's voice came through. His earpiece. "I'm in the ship, are you alive?" "Barely," Elias answered. "Let's get off this planet." As their ship flew toward the stars, Elias looked at the files in his hands. Truth had a price, but it was time the galaxy paid it. Captain Elias Cade and Lieutenant Zara Quinn flew through space in a stolen scout ship. Behind them, Earth grew smaller. Ahead, danger waited. They had the files, the truth, the secret proof of the Council's hidden plan, but they had nowhere to hide. Zara looked at the screen. "There's a small station on the moon Sareth 3. It's neutral ground." Elias nodded. "Let's go dark. No signals, no lights, no names." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chamber, the Elithari sat in silence. Their thoughts moved like lightning through shared minds. "Vial failed," one said. Another replied, "The human has proof, and he is spreading it. We cannot allow the truth to grow." A new voice spoke. "Then we don't stop him. We replace him." All minds turned to the speaker. A shadow agent named Kalos, known as the Mirror. Kalos could copy anyone's look, voice, and movement. He was the Council's master of infiltration. His mission, become Elias Cade, destroy him from inside, on. Sareth 3. Elias and Zara landed the ship quietly. The station was old, made of metal towers and wide tunnels buried in rock. Refugees, smugglers, and traders filled the halls. No one asked questions. No one gave answers. Elias wore a hood. Zara kept her weapon close. They met with Mira Voss, a former Council translator who now lived in hiding. She had left the Council after seeing too many lies. Elias placed the files on her table. "This is what they've been hiding." Mira read them. Her hands shook. This could change everything." "Yes," Elias said. "If it doesn't, get us killed first." But outside, Kalos had already arrived. He looked like a traveler, tall, quiet, friendly. But his eyes watched every move. He had scanned Elias's image, studied his voice, copied his walk. Soon there would be 2 Elias Cades in the galaxy. Later that night, Elias stood on a balcony above the station's engine bay. He looked at the stars, quiet, focused. Suddenly Zara rushed in. Someone just used your ID code on the station's network. Elias narrowed his eyes. That's not possible. It is, Zara said. Someone's pretending to be you. Elias knew then. They sent a copy. They're not trying to kill me, he said. They want to replace me. Zara looked around. Then we need to move. Now. But it was already too late. Alarms blared, red lights flashed. A message echoed across the station. Captain Elias Cade is wanted for betrayal against the council. All citizens must report his location. In the crowd below, Kalos, now wearing Elias's face, stepped forward. He raised a hand and shouted, "There he is! The real traitor!" People turned. Confused. Angry. Two men with the same face. Same voice. Zara drew her weapon. Which one is real? A fight began. Crowds ran. Security bots flew in. Elias and Zara escaped through a vent into the lower levels. But Kalos followed. In the dark tunnels, Elias and his copy faced each other. "You'll never win," Kalos said. "The galaxy already believes me." Elias stared him down. "They may believe your face, but they'll never believe your heart." They fought, fist to fist, no weapons. Zara watched, trying to tell them apart. Finally, one of them shouted, "Shoot him!" But Zara aimed her blaster and said, "Tell me something only Elias would know." The real Elias looked at her and said quietly, "You cried after your first mission, but you told the team it was sand in your eye." Zara fired. The copy dropped. Dead. They didn't have much time. Miravos helped them upload the files into the core stream, a data river that flowed across many worlds. Once inside, the files would spread, too fast to stop. As the data upload began, Mira warned, "The council will come. You should leave now." But Elias shook his head. "I started this. I won't run from it." In the stars above Sareth 3, council warships moved into position, but this time the galaxy was watching, and more people were beginning to see the truth. The truth was out. The secret council files about control, manipulation, and forced peace were now flying across space, through satellites, private channels, and rebel networks. Every planet that received the files had the same reaction: shock, fear, and anger. People had believed the council brought peace. Now they saw the truth. And the first to speak were not soldiers or leaders. They were ordinary people. On the mining world of Draxon 4, a worker named Luma Wren stood in front of her, small town with a speaker in her hand. Her voice shook, but she kept going. "They lied to us. For years. And it took a human, one man, to show us the truth." Crowds gathered, cameras recorded, the message spread. On the jungle moon of Velith, a former council officer smashed his badge and said, "I once believed in them. Now I believe in freedom." Back on Sareth 3, Elias Cade stood by a giant screen as he watched the reactions. Each new voice gave him hope, but also worry. Zara said, "You started a fire, and now everyone wants to join it." Elias replied, "The problem is fire spreads, fast and without control." He turned to Miravos, who had just finished another upload. "I need to speak to the galaxy," he said. "Not in secret, not hiding." Mira hesitated. "If you do that, the council will come after you with everything." "They already are," Elias said. "It's time I stop running." Meanwhile, in the council high fortress, the Elithari burned with anger. This human has become a voice for rebellion. Others are rising. "We must crush this movement," one voice asked. "And what if crushing it makes it grow stronger?" The room went quiet. Then a new voice whispered, "We must destroy Earth. That will silence them all." Back in Nice, a secret base near the moons of Telvar, rebel leaders from different species gathered. Some had never worked together before. Now they shared food, plans, and anger. "We owe this human," said a Thalkir commander. "He gave us a reason to stand. But if Earth falls," a scientist said, "the hope may fall with it." Then Zara walked into the room. "We're not going to let that happen." The next day, Elias went live, across thousands of worlds. His face appeared on screens, shaky but proud. I am Captain Elias Cade of Terra. I walked out of the council chamber not to bring war, but to stop a lie that has lasted too long." He paused, then added, "I don't want power, I don't want revenge, I want freedom, yours and mine." The screen went dark, but on Earth the warning had already come. Council warships were on their way, massive, silent, deadly. Earth's defenses were strong, but not strong enough. General Laura Hammond stood in the Earth Defense Command Center. "Get every ship ready. No excuses. If they want to fight, they'll get one." She looked at the stars. "And tell Elias. We're with him." In the quiet, night on Seraph 3, Elias sat alone. Zara joined him. "You did it," she said. "No," Elias said softly. "We all did." He looked at the stars. But now, the real war begins. Far above Earth, the sky was no longer peaceful. A fleet of massive alien warships appeared in orbit. Black, sharp, and silent. The Council had come to make a final move. Their goal was clear: crush Earth before the truth spread further. Every city on Earth went into lockdown. Sirens howled. People ran to shelters. Satellites showed enemy ships forming a circle around the planet, like a trap ready to close. In Earth's main defense center, General Laura Hammond stood in front of a huge screen. "They're not here to talk," she said. "They're here to erase us." Behind her, Earth's last space fleet was ready. Fighters, destroyers, and defense drones. But the numbers were bad. Earth had 50 ships. The Council had 200. Captain Elias Cade watched from Seraph 3. He clenched his fists as the Council ships blocked Earth's sky. Zara said, "They're going to hit hard and fast. They want to make an example." Elias looked at her. "Then we won't let them." He sent one last message to Earth. "Don't surrender. Help is coming." Meanwhile, on the dark side of the moon, Yeltor, rebel ships were gathering. More than 20 species had joined after watching Elias's broadcast. Small fighters, smugglers, old warships. Some barely held together, but all ready to fight. A Thalkir commander spoke. "We were enemies once, but now we stand together for freedom." On Earth, the first attack began. Beams of light shot from the Council ships, hitting Earth's defense satellites. Explosions lit the sky. General Hammond shouted, "All units, return fire!" The Earth fleet launched into space. Fighter jets zipped past. Space battles broke out above major cities. One by one, Council ships began to land giant drills near power stations. Their goal wasn't to destroy Earth, but control it, quietly, from the inside. In the middle of the battle, Elias and Zara arrived in a rebel command ship. Elias sent a wide message. "To all fighters, protect the power stations. If they take those, they control the planet." The rebels and humans flew together for the first time, firing side by side, trusting each other with their lives. Zara piloted through a storm of enemy fire. "We've got a drill ship heading toward New Berlin," Elias shouted. "Take us in close." Inside the Council drill ship, elite soldiers moved fast. Tall, armored, with red glowing visors. They had one task: set the mind control device on Earth's main grid. But Elias wasn't going to let that happen. He and a rebel squad boarded the drill ship during flight. Blasters fired. Smoke filled the halls. Elias faced a Council officer and said, You brought the wrong war." Then he fired. The device was destroyed, but Elias took a hit. His shoulder burned with pain. He kept moving. Outside, rebel fighters screamed in joy as 2 Council warships exploded. General Hammond smiled for the first time. "They're breaking. We're winning." But the Council still had one final weapon, a supercarrier called the Judge, the largest ship in the fleet. It could destroy cities from orbit. It entered the battlefield, moving like a giant beast. Zara saw it on the scanner. "If that thing fires, millions will die." Elias gritted his teeth. "Then we take it down." He sent a private signal to all rebel leaders. "This is Elias Cade. We end this now. All units, target the Judge." From all directions, fighters rushed toward the giant ship. They dodged beams, slipped past shields, and fired everything they had. It wasn't enough. Zara whispered, "We're not going to make it." Suddenly, two massive Earth carriers, long hidden under the sea, rose into orbit. General Hammond's voice came through. "You're not alone, Elias." The two ships launched special missiles straight at the judge. A flash, a roar, then silence. The judge exploded. The council fleet began to retreat. All across the galaxy, people saw it live. Earth survived. The truth survived. But the war wasn't. Zara turned to Elias. "We won the battle," he nodded. "Now we win the galaxy." The galaxy had changed. For the first time in centuries, the council had lost a major battle, and it happened on Earth. News of the defeat spread like wildfire. Planets that were once silent began to speak up. Worlds once afraid now began to stand, tall. On the rocky world of Veltarn, miners refused to send more resources to the council. They raised the flag of freedom and said, "We serve no masters now." On Alara Prime, students and teachers marched through the capital shouting, "Truth over control." Even on council-controlled planets, small rebellions began. People whispered one name, Elias Cade. But victory brought new problems. Elias stood inside the rebel command center, staring at a map of the stars. Many sectors were now in chaos. Power struggles had begun. Criminals were rising in the shadows. Former allies were turning into rivals. Zara entered the room. "The council's losing control, but it doesn't mean peace is winning." Elias nodded. "We broke the chain. Now we have to make sure no one puts it back on." A new group formed, a union of free planets. Not an empire, not a council. Just a voice for those who wanted to choose their own path. Elias didn't want to lead it. But the people chose him. They didn't want a hero. They wanted a symbol of truth. A summit was planned, a meeting of newly free worlds on Nova Lys, a peaceful moon with no military base, no weapons. There, they would vote on a charter of rights, laws to protect freedom, to keep power from rising. Again in secret, Zara said, "You think the council will let this happen?" Elias looked into the stars. "They'll try to stop it, but we'll be ready." And indeed, far away, inside the last great fortress of the Elithari, the surviving council leaders watched the news. "They are gathering," one said. "They believe they are safe. They are building a future without us." Another voice answered coldly, "Then we burn the future before it begins." Back on Nova Lys, the summit began. Leaders from 20 different species arrived. Some in robes, others in armor, some walking, others floating. They spoke with hope, they shared their fears. And then Elias stood in front of them all. "I didn't come here to lead," he said. "I came here to listen. We're not here to create another council. We're here to protect freedom, even from ourselves." But just as the final vote was about to begin, a ship exploded in orbit. A message came through. "This is a warning. Go home, or be destroyed." Panic hit the summit. Some leaders wanted to run. Zara turned to Elias. "It's them. They're coming." Elias looked at the stars. "Let them. We won't run this time." He picked up the comm and sent one signal to all the free worlds. "The council is not done, but neither are we." Across the galaxy, people began to rise again. Farmers took up arms. Teachers became messengers. Engineers turned old ships into weapons. The galaxy wasn't bowing anymore. It was rising. The galaxy was standing on the edge of war. Again. The council had lost its power, but not its pride. They were wounded, angry, and dangerous. They had gathered their last remaining forces, secret weapons, hidden armies, and old loyal warships. They were coming to Nova Lys, where the free worlds were meeting. Their plan was simple: destroy the summit, silence the leaders, and crush the idea of freedom forever. Captain Elias Cade stood in front of the gathered leaders. "They're not just coming for us," he said. "They're coming for what we believe." Zara looked at the sky. "Their fleet is 2 hours away." Elias nodded. "Then we fight here, together, no more running." Ships from every free world moved into orbit around Nova Lys. They weren't perfect. Many were old, some were small, but they were ready. Fighters from Earth, hunters from Thalkir, stealth ships from Alara. Even farmers had turned cargo ships into warships. It was the largest non-council fleet ever seen. The people were ready. The question was, would it be enough? When the council fleet arrived, it blotted out the stars. Over 300 ships, massive and dark, surrounded the moon. A message came through. Surrender now, or be erased. Elias answered simply, no. The battle began. Laser fire lit up space. Ships exploded. Alarms screamed. Elias flew beside Zara in a fast fighter. That ship. Target its engines, she shouted. They dodged fire and shot back, 2 rebels among hundreds. Around them, free world ships fell, but they did not give up. Inside the command base, leaders kept the signal strong, sending hope across the galaxy. Hold the line, General, Hammond said from Earth. Don't let them break through. Suddenly, the Council's flagship released a planet-killer missile aimed straight at the surface of Nova Lies. If it hit, everything would end. Zara gasped. They'll wipe out everyone. Civilians, leaders, children. Elias's voice was steady. We stop it, no matter what. He pushed his fighter to full speed. He raced toward the missile, even as enemy fire burned all around him. Zara tried to follow, but her ship was hit. Elias, don't! You won't make it! He looked at the eye screen and smiled softly. This is for all of us. He flew straight into the missile and fired his last weapon. A huge explosion lit up the sky. The missile was gone. Elias was gone. There was silence in space. Then, something happened. Across every free world ship, a new voice came through. Not the Council. Not a soldier. It was a child's voice from Veltarn, crackling over the comms. He did it. He saved us. That one voice lit a fire. Every free world ship surged forward. They attacked as one. Not for revenge, but for Elias. One by one, the Council ships fell. The final Council ship tried to escape, but was captured. It was over. Back on Nova Lys, the summit continued. A statue was built in the center of the moon, showing a man standing, still facing the stars. The plaque read, "He walked out so we could stand free." Zara looked up at the statue and whispered, "You didn't bow, and now none of us have to." Years passed. The galaxy changed. The free worlds grew stronger, fairer, freer. But every year, on the day of the great battle, ships across the stars went silent for 1 minute, to remember the man who stood, walked away, and gave them all the courage to rise.